Welcome back to Footballology. So about a month ago, I put a video out saying what you should do with your pick if you're picking up in the top part of the draft, trading back, getting more value for the pick if the guy that you want isn't there, and going back and getting your guy and still getting more draft capital in return. Also, if you guys haven't checked out my channel in general, definitely go look over my channel. My channel, I really kind of focus in on the draft and how it impacts teams, and where I feel like a lot of teams should do a lot of their drafting in the later part of the draft instead of the early part of the draft, where I feel like everyone loves the first 2 rounds or 3 rounds of the draft, but nobody talks about the last 4 to 5 rounds, or last 4 rounds, I guess you could say. And that kind of irritates me. It's really like the unbalance. And I really like those guys at the back end of the draft, because at the back end of the draft, that's where you're going to build 90% of your team. That's where a lot of your superstars and a lot of good quality players come from, the back end of the draft. Now, don't get me wrong. Obviously, at the top of the draft, you're still going to get quality players like Andrew Luck, Saquon Barkley, Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson. You're going to get those guys. I get that. But I like to put more of my emphasis on the back half of the draft, because that's where I like. But anyways, what I don't like the most, and a lot of people kind of criticize me on this, they always say take the best player available, and I don't believe that. I'm not a big believer in taking the best player available, because it might not be the best player for your team. Just because he's the best player rated technically coming out in the draft doesn't mean he's going to be the best player that's going to actually fit your team scheme and actually give your team the best chance to win. I think about a couple of years back with technically would have been 5 years back now, because he just picked up his 5th-year option. Leonard Williams, when he got drafted by the Jets at the time he got drafted with the Jets, I think, if I'm not mistaken, they had Muhammad Wilkerson, Sheldon Richardson, and Damon Harrison. So they had a front 3 that was formidable. Like, they were really good. Like, I fell in love with that front 3. If you're a Jets fan, you know exactly what I mean. That front 3 was nasty. And so they had these guys, and then they go out and draft Leonard Williams. And that didn't make any sense to me. That's probably one of the strongest points of this team right now. I understand, the rich get richer and all that. I get that. But if I'm going to draft a guy at that position, I'm going to do it in the later part of the draft. I'm going to go get a project defensive tackle, if you will, because I got 3 studs up front. Now, if I get a project guy, let him sit behind these guys, maybe learn something or two, and then finally come out and he become a stud. Kind of keep that rotation of, I guess you can tutoring or mentoring, keeping that going throughout my roster, because I'd rather get those guys in the later part. If I got 3 guys that can do it and do it at a really high level, I'm going to go get me one more guy at, the 4th or 5th round. I'll create depth there versus then trying to create depth in the 1st round. So I didn't understand when they took Leonard Williams. And then we fast forward to this past season, you see Leonard Williams then get traded off to the Giants. And it was like, that's kind of frustrating, because y'all technically didn't need him in the first place. Now y'all kind of sitting there, and y'all don't have anyone on your front anymore. Y'all trying to kind of piece together this defense slowly, and it's going to come together eventually, because they got a beast on the back end named Jamal Adams, and I am a huge Jamal Adams fan. And so I understand that with the Jets or whatever, but that kind of frustrated me. And then there was another situation with the Indianapolis Colts where they wound up taking Philip Dorsett in the 1st round when they already had a guy like T.Y. Hilton. If you got the same guy on your roster, you don't take the same guy. Like, that's just, I understand, because, you just feel like you have depth, or you have that consistent depth. When the guy goes out, if T.Y. Hilton goes out, you still got Dorsett. They can do some of the same similar things. I get that. I do understand that. But I'm not going to go give my quarterback the same exact wide receiver. I'm going to give him a variety of wide receivers. I'm going to give him a big guy. I'm going to give him a small guy. I'm going to give him a slot guy. I'm going to give him a possession receiver. I'm going to give him a variety of receivers, instead of trying to build up at one position or one type of receiver. And so that kind of frustrated me, because I didn't feel like, not only did I not feel like Philip Dorsett wasn't quality enough to go in the 1st round, I just didn't feel like he was the right pick for the Indianapolis Colts. But a lot of people kind of agree with that, because they said that at the time he was the best player available. And it's like, sometimes the best player available isn't the best player for your roster. He's not going to come in and make an instant impact. If you're Green Bay and you're picking in the top 5, do you really go out and get a quarterback when you know you got Aaron Rodgers? No, you're going to go in the 3rd, maybe 4th round and go get a project quarterback and say, sit behind Aaron Rodgers and learn. I'd rather spend that money there. And then if you're Green Bay, you can say, I can go get some offensive line help. I can go get my guy a wide receiver, or go get Aaron Rodgers a wide receiver. I can go get another DB. I can go get another linebacker. I can fill some other voids in my team. And I'd rather fill voids in my team with that talented player than go out and get a guy that's just going to create depth at a position that I'm already extremely strong at. And I really just don't understand that, and I don't gather that at all. If you guys, my footballologists out there, if y'all can break it down for me, at least try to make it somewhat more understandable to me, I will greatly appreciate that. But overall, when I come down and I look at it, I think it's the most idiotic thing you can ever do as a GM. I understand, like I said, you create depth at a position of strength, but sometimes it's not the right thing to do, especially when you're weak in so many other players or so many other areas of your roster. You think about the Miami Dolphins this year. Miami, I think, has 3 first-round picks, I want to say. Don't quote me on that. I think they have 3. So when you're in the Miami Dolphins, you're not going to technically don't have a position of strength right now. They pretty much cleaned house. And so if you're the Miami Dolphins, you're going to be like, all right, everything's wide open. Let's go get something. At that point, you're drafting best player available. That makes perfect sense because no matter who you draft, there's always going to be an upgrade over what you currently have on your roster. That makes sense to me. I'm saying for teams that are playing in, I guess you could say the teens to 20s, some of those teams are like on the brink of playoffs. You know, like you don't need to go out and do other things at that position. Like you think about the Chicago Bears. I'm looking at their logo. If you think about the Chicago Bears, you don't go out and get more pass rushers, do you? No, you got Khalil Mack, you got Akeem Hicks on front. You got pieces up front that you can live with right now, and you can go get a guy in the depth, especially this year's class. You can go get a guy in the later round and go get a pass rusher there and develop him. Maybe you go get a DB, possibly. You get some secondary help, get some offensive line help. I know they definitely need offensive line help. And then maybe if there's a quarterback sitting there, question mark. I don't know. I doubt if they go that route because that's a touchy subject right there. But I just think that if taking the best player available is your strategy, you're not going to get ahead as far as building a roster. You're just always going to have a really good, strong, front 5 offensive lineman, or a really strong defensive line, or a really strong linebacking core. You're just going to be strong in one area where you're weak and vulnerable in other areas of your roster, and that's going to be really frustrating for your fans and really frustrating for your coach. Like, how am I supposed to coach? I know the coaches are supposed to make players better, but sometimes the players either got it or you don't, and that's just what it comes down to. So I don't know. I kind of want to put that out there. Let me know what you guys think. Is it always about best player available, or is it, team need? Like, which one would you rather go with? For me, it's all about team need. Give me my team need. Let me fill that void, and I can get the best player available, starting in the 4th or 5th round. But even then, I'm still questioning it because I'm still trying to fill voids. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. If you're not a footballologist yet, definitely go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel today. Become a footballologist, and stay safe, football fans.